And all these great calamitous events which we are seeing unfurl would not be happening but for our apostate nations demanding that Jesus be crucified all over again while shouting that a murderer be released unto us. Most prominently, Muhammad being that murderer. And it's not that our divided nations desire Muhammad no more than the Jews desired Barabbas. But it has been the enemies of Christ that have worked this, just like the enemies of Christ did back then. But as nations, our intentions have been made clear, that we would rather show Jesus our detestation of having him around, thus provoking God to anger, in that we would rather have a murderer like Muhammad be released unto us while having Jesus bound, yet all the while holding the knowledge that the Christ be faultless. And when someone has been playing the role of Pilate in trying to dissuade our nations from their course, those who defend our Judeo-Christian heritage, our response has been resounding. John 18:40, then cried they all again, saying, not this man, but Barabbas. Not this man, but Muhammad. The evil work of those farmers of the vineyard in driving out and killing Jesus being complete. So what do the Father? Well, as God scattered the Jews after he'd devastated Judea and destroyed the temple, so God will devastate wherever spiritual Israel covered and scatter the people and destroy the living temple made of merely nominal and cultural Christians. They will be sent away from the riches of Christ, banished from knowledge, understanding and wisdom, insomuch as to be reduced to seeking the counsel of lifeless and dumb objects. And during this time, these once Christian nations shall, before the heathen, be an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword at their passage. One only has to look to the farce that is Brexit, having us the laughing stock of the world. And those of a true Christian profession will suffer during this tribulation. Now, if you're a mere professor and this has made you afraid, then the Bible teaches to pull people back from the fire, even by using fear. So, with that fear, get yourself into the obedience of faith. But note, even quasi-believer or disbeliever, during this tribulation to end all tribulations, God will deliver out of the troubles whosoever calls on his name. This does not speak about eternal salvation, the same as it didn't speak about eternal salvation at the time of the destruction of the nation of Israel in 70 AD, but temporal salvation. And yet not necessarily delivered out of the trouble in its entirety, but delivered from trouble to trouble until the tribulation be past. For God is a deliverer of anyone, if that anyone call on the name of the Lord. All true believers will be delivered like they were in 70 AD. And this is what it means for God to cut spiritual Israel down to size until we be few in number, the real number, as he did many a time with Israel during the Jewish dispensation. And the same was when the Israelites sinned in the matter of Peor. The Lord began cutting them down until only those who clave to him remained. And today, being that there is so much hostility towards Christ, so many light believers, the Lord is cutting the Europeans short, just like in the days of Jehu, king of Israel. 2 Kings 10:32, in those days the Lord began to cut Israel short, literally cutting off the ends. The Lord is now and has been cutting spiritual Israel short. But a time will come again when the Lord will say, Isaiah 62:8, surely I will no more give thy corn to be meat for thine enemies, and the sons of the stranger shall not drink wine, for the which thou hast laboured. And all this will have taught us one major thing, that whereas man insists that he is right about all races being able to live together cohesively while having their differing spirits and differing cultures, though the enemies of Christ know this not to be true, yet again man is proven wrong. What a disaster it has to be for man to learn this. For only in the same spirit can races live together, and only successfully in the spirit of Christ, as we have witnessed within Christendom. But without that spirit, races cannot coexist properly, though really it has never been about races, but cultures. And races do have their own cultures. God has pleasure in races, otherwise he wouldn't have created them. But until then, with the word racist handed out so readily, so harmfully, so ignorantly, it is indeed right to be race sensitive.
And this concludes the series of Ham is the father of Canaan, but I thought that Noah was. I ought to apologise for the audio quality. Unbeknown to me, the laptop fan increasingly impacted the recording. I had to make many tweaks. Anyway, I recorded this discourse over 2.5 years ago. I uploaded it to BitChute, but then hid it from public view because I'd fallen short of understanding Genesis 10 properly and a couple of other things. But then this did give rise to my work about Nimrod, a treatise which is very relevant for today. Well, I do hope that you got as much nourishment as I did from this treatise. My name is John Edgar Townsend. I trust that you will have a blessed day.